My wife started crying and begging me to take her to the hospital after her ex-boyfriend got into a serious accident. "Please," she sobbed. "I need to be there. I still love him." I stayed quiet, drove her there, watched her run to him without looking back. That night, I packed my things. She came home to an empty apartment and a note that said, "Don't worry, he can have you now." And now, she's blowing up my phone, sending 167 desperate messages. Chapter 1: The Accident. It started on a quiet Sunday evening. We were sitting on the couch watching some forgettable show neither of us cared about. I was sipping coffee. My wife, Eliza, was scrolling through her phone, eyes wide, fingers trembling. Then she gasped, her face drained of color. I sat up straight. "What's wrong?" She didn't answer me. She just stood up, clutching the phone like it was her lifeline. "Oh God! Oh my God!" she whispered. "Eliza?" I asked again, standing now. "Two." She turned toward me, eyes already welling with tears. It's Eric," she choked out. "He's been in a car accident. It's bad. They airlifted him to County General. I need to go. I need to be there." My stomach dropped. Eric, her ex-boyfriend. The one who broke her heart years before we met. The one whose name she still mumbled sometimes in her sleep. The one she swore she'd moved on from. But I'd seen the old photo album she kept tucked in the back of her closet. I'd seen the emails she thought she'd deleted. I knew deep down that she never really let him go. And now she wasn't even trying to hide it. She grabbed her purse and keys. "Eliza?" I said quietly. "What do you mean you need to be there?" "He's your ex." She stopped cold, then slowly turned to me. Her voice cracked. "Please, I still love him." 5 words, 5 bullets. I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I didn't even let her see the devastation behind my calm exterior. I just said, "I'll drive." She blinked, surprised. You will?" I nodded. "Of course. Let's go." I drove her across the city in silence. Her fingers were shaking the entire ride. She didn't even look at me, but I looked at her. And in that moment, something inside me died, and something else, colder, was born. When we pulled up to the hospital, she unbuckled before the car even stopped fully. She opened the door, breathless, desperate. "Thank you. Thank you so much." Then she was gone, running across the parking lot into the ER doors. She didn't look back, not once. I watched until she disappeared. Then I drove away, straight home, and began packing. Chapter 2: The Vanishing Point. The apartment was quiet when I stepped back inside. The living room still smelled faintly of Eliza's perfume, lavender, and something artificial. The couch cushions were indented where we had sat just an hour ago before her entire mask cracked open. I didn't waste time. I moved with calm precision. Not rage, not heartbreak, just cold mechanical resolve. I pulled out the suitcase from under the bed and packed only what was mine. The rest I left behind like a used stage prop. Clothes, files, my backup laptop, a few essentials. I didn't forget my old passport. Not the new one she once took from my drawer for safekeeping. Next came the hard drive. Everything I needed was already backed up. All the receipts, the financial transfers from our joint account to her secret slush fund, the messages between her and Eric. The one from 2 months ago, Eliza, he doesn't excite me anymore. Eric was always the one. Then I left the note. I kept it simple, elegant, unapologetic. "Don't worry, he can have you now." Then I walked out and I didn't just leave the apartment. I vanished from her world entirely. By morning, she'd wake to silence. No me, no explanation, just emptiness and the weight of her own decisions. But that wasn't the end. That was just the prologue. Because while Eliza had been busy mourning her ex-boyfriend's injuries, she had no idea that I'd been preparing for this moment long before she ever cried his name. She didn't know I'd contacted a divorce attorney months ago. Didn't know I'd already separated my income. Didn't know I had video proof of her repeated betrayal, enough to dismantle any spousal support claim, enough to keep full custody if I wanted it, and more than enough to turn the court of public opinion against her. But most of all, she didn't know about the text I just sent to Eric's fiancée. Yes, Eric had a whole other life, and she was about to find out exactly who Eliza was. Tonight, she chose her past over her present. Tomorrow, she'd realize she'd lost both. Chapter 3. Echoes of a life she chose to burn. By sunrise, I was in another city. I had checked into a modest hotel under a temporary alias, something clean, quiet, untraceable. I left my real name behind, just like the apartment, the photos on the wall, and the hollow marriage that had collapsed under the weight of lies. But Eliza, she was waking up to silence. No coffee brewing, no slippers by the bed, no good morning that she never really appreciated, just a note and an empty closet. By 7:03 a.m., the messages started. Eliza, where are you? Are you okay? Eliza, please answer me. What is this? Eliza, is this about last night? By 9:15 a.m., panic began to set in. Eliza, I'm sorry I said those things. I was emotional. Eliza, you're my husband. Please just come home so we can talk. Eliza, are you really doing this? Are you leaving me? But I didn't reply, not once. She hadn't thought twice when she told me with tears in her eyes. I still love him. She hadn't looked back when she ran into that hospital room. Why should I? By 11 a.m., she realized something else. Her mother had called, asking why our joint credit card was declined. She checked the bank and saw nothing. No savings, no shared funds, no emergency cushion, all legally moved into my separate premarital account. Perfectly timed, perfectly executed. Then came the real punch. That same hour, Eric's fiancée, a woman named Valerie, posted on social media a screenshot of Eliza and Eric kissing in a hospital room. Caption, while I was planning our wedding, this is what he was doing. Say hi to Eliza, everyone. The woman who swore she was happily married. The comment section ignited like wildfire. Mutual friends, co-workers, her parents, even her gym instructor. She wasn't the grieving romantic anymore. She was the villain. The woman who ran to another man while her husband sat silent and strong. The messages kept pouring in. Eliza, you ruined me. Eliza, why are you doing this? Eliza, this isn't you. Please, I didn't mean it, but it was me. The version she created when she pushed me to the edge and expected me to take it with a smile. This wasn't rage, this was consequence. And the best part, she still had no idea that I had one last move left. A piece of mail she'd be receiving tomorrow morning. A legal document that would make everything official and irreversible. Chapter 4. The letter that changed everything. The envelope arrived at 9:06 a.m., certified mail, signature required. Eliza signed for it with shaky hands, still in her bathrobe, eyes bloodshot from another sleepless night. Her mother was pacing behind her, whispering things like, "He's just being dramatic and he'll come crawling back." But when Eliza opened the envelope, her hands froze. Inside was a petition for divorce already filed, accompanied by a copy of our prenuptial agreement and a letter I'd written by hand just for her. Eliza, I stayed silent that night because I wanted you to run to him. I wanted to see if you'd look back. You didn't. And in that moment, you chose your future. This divorce isn't out of anger. It's clarity. It's what you taught me to do. Put myself first. You always claimed you never had closure with him. Well, now you do. Be with him fully. But you don't get to keep me as plan B. As for finances, read the prenup. You cheated. I didn't. You leave with nothing. Don't contact me again unless it's through legal channels. And tell your mother. I always noticed how she looked at our daughter. Not really family, right? Make sure she never says that again. M. Her knees buckled. She slumped onto the couch, clutching the letter like it might suddenly morph into an apology. But there were no apologies coming. Not from me, not anymore. Her mother grabbed the prenup from her lap and read it aloud. Clause 7. In the event of infidelity, all claims to shared assets and spousal support are forfeited by the offending party. Clause 9. If dependent children are involved, full custody defaults to the non-offending spouse pending judicial review. She dropped the document like it burned her. That's when Eliza screamed, not in rage, in grief. The kind of grief you feel when you realize too late that someone you thought was weak was actually 10 steps ahead the whole time. She dialed my number again. "Eliza, please just talk to me. We can fix this. I didn't mean to hurt you. You're a good man. You didn't deserve this." I watched the call ring on my burner phone, then I turned it off. She had made her choice. Now she could live in it. Chapter 5. The Last Word. It had been 2 months. 2 months since I vanished from her life without a trace. 2 months since I left the apartment key on the table, packed my essentials, and moved 3 cities over to a quiet lakeside town where nobody knew my name. Eliza still called. One judged at 67 missed calls and counting. Still texted. Long messages, short ones, voice notes at 2 a.m. Photos of us from better times, screenshots of her crying. I didn't block her. I wanted her to speak into the void, to feel what I felt the night she ran to another man without hesitation, without shame. Then the final blow arrived, a package delivered to her address. No return label. Inside it was a hardcover photo book, leather-bound. The title on the cover, What You Left Behind. Each page had a single photo. Page 1, me and our daughter at a sunrise breakfast. Pancakes, maple syrup, smiley faces. Page 2, her reading a book in bed, cuddled up to me under fairy lights. Page 3, a letter she wrote me on our 2nd anniversary filled with promises she never kept. Page 4, the sonogram, the one she begged me to frame. Page 5, her phone's lock screen from a year ago, a selfie of the 3 of us smiling on a beach. The final page was blank, except for a line written in permanent ink. "You didn't just lose me, you erased your own story." She showed up at my lawyer's office a week later, unannounced, disheveled, mascara streaked, pleading for a conversation. I made a mistake, a huge one. He left me the moment he recovered, said he wasn't ready for commitment. He never loved me. He never will. She was hoping for forgiveness, maybe even a second chance. Instead, she got silence. My lawyer slid her the final divorce decree, signed, finalized, filed. Then he handed her a single envelope, sealed with a red wax stamp. He said, "To give you this." Personally, she opened it slowly. Inside was a photo. It was me and our daughter, smiling, relaxed, standing in front of a new house with a sold sign in the background. Behind us, a beautiful garden, freshly planted, new beginnings, written across the bottom in ink. "We're doing just fine without you." Epilogue. What she left behind. They say silence is the loudest answer, and for Eliza, that silence became unbearable. After I sent that final message, the photo of me and our daughter starting fresh, she stopped calling, stopped texting. The 167 messages remained unanswered, archived in a folder I'd never open again. But from mutual friends and old neighbors, bits of her new reality trickled in over the following months. The ex-boyfriend, he ghosted her after recovery. Apparently, his words were brutal. "You were just a memory, Eliza, not a future." Her mother, once a constant presence, took her side at first until she learned the truth. That Eliza had abandoned her marriage and her child for a fantasy that she'd tried to crawl back only when it all collapsed. The relationship fractured and that maternal safety net gone. She moved back to her childhood town, alone. A rental apartment smaller than the one we once shared. No car, no custody rights, just guilt, regret, and a long winter. As for me and my daughter, we healed slowly. Not overnight, but brick by brick. She stopped asking why Mom didn't call as often.